Okay, so we are continuing with this Vaishnava etiquette talks. So Ramchandra Prabhu, last two Wednesday, he very beautifully explained the importance of Vaishnava etiquettes. And so today we are continuing with this against the disclaimer. So it's not like for any devotee we are speaking. It's basically whatever is given in the manual, whatever is there as per ISKCON Parampara, Gaudiya Parampara, that I'm trying to speak here. So honoring and serving prasadam. So it is said like, and we are aware, especially for ISKCON, we are very famous for prasadam. And today topic will be on that. And we'll start with what Srila Prabhupada says on prasadam. Srila Prabhupada says that I like this idea very much. He says, because there are two things in our movement. One is chanting and one is feasting. So chanting is like we do every day Hare Krishna Nam Jap. That is our medicine. And our prasadam is the diet for curing the material diseases. And then actually this prasadam, when it is served properly or honored properly or cooked properly, then that is one of the very important concern in the Vaishnava culture actually. So wherever if we honor prasadam or serve prasadam properly, we get mercy of our spiritual master and Krishna, and they, because they are very much pleased. And whenever we offer this bhoga to Lord, then we get mercy of the Lord in return, and in result we get purified. Srila Prabhupada, in one of his letter in October 17, 1968, Udayanand Prabhu, on how to honor prasad, he says, when a devotee distributes prasad, remnants of food offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in order to maintain our spirit of devotional service, we must accept this prasad as the Lord's grace received through the pure devotees. So this is very important quote which Prabhupada is stating, like the prasadam distribution or honorary prasadam is one of the most important because it purifies our heart. It is stated in Shastra that even whatever sins we have done, it will eradicate if we honor prasadam. It will help us to purify ourselves if we prepare bhoga to Lord first and then only we eat. We'll start with this one. Can someone please read?
Honoring and serving prasadam. Serving prasadam, one should be pure in mind, body, habits, and dress, and perform your duties quickly, quietly, and efficiently. As much as possible, loud talking and disruptive noises should be avoided. No jokes should be made while serving prasadam, and if we are doing serving seva longer than, give others also seva to serve prasadam. One must ensure that preparations meant to be served hot are actually hot, and that all preparations to be served are either present or will arrive for serving at proper time. Neither the server nor the serving utensils should ever touch the plates or hands of those who are eating, for this will contaminate the server and serving utensils. One should wash one's hands and the contaminated utensils before continuing to serve the prasada. The prasadam may be gently dropped on a free area of the plate, not on the salt, for example, taking care to not mix salty preparations with the sweet preparations. Prasadam should not be served directly into the hand of the person eating, unless one is serving not a meal, but only morsels of Mahaprasadam. Except when serving dry sweets or dry items, one should serve prasadam with a spoon, even for salt. Only right hand must be used to serve prasadam, and one should not touch anything impure, one's mouth, feet, hair, or lower body, nor should one's yawn, sneeze, or spit. The serving vessel should not touch anyone's feet.
Yeah, so this is very important for us, and like we are already following, but this is a refresher for us. So here there are many instructions are given. The first most important, like why we serve our, like wherever we go, our goal is fixed, like why we earn, why we do education, why we go to office. So we have some particular goal. So similarly, when we do any seva, we should have some motive. Okay, when we are connected to this parampara, our goal is like, okay, we want to go back to Godhead. So there is one very beautiful story in Srila Prabhupada where Srila Prabhupada says one of his god brother, when he was at age of 6 or 7, so he was daily doing seva and he was having Radha Krishna Murti. And then once like he started playing, so he was not concentrating on the seva, but Lord was very much attached to his seva. So he falls sick and then he gets flu. So his parents were thinking like, this climate is not cold, it's summer, and then how he's shivering so much. And then on that particular day in dream to that particular god brother Srila Prabhupada, the same deities comes and they say that you have forgot us to offer a shawl in the night. And then he wakes up and then he offers a shawl to Radha Krishna deities, and then he's cured immediately. So the point here Prabhupada is stating like, deities, if the Krishna, like he can do anything. He's Sarva Karana Karanam, so he can do anything. But once we start serving Krishna, so Krishna gets attached to our service and he wants to do us more and more. So similarly, if we are doing serving Prasadam Seva, the very first important thing is like, we should be very much pure internally. Our body should be pure. We should dress properly. We should wear fresh clothes. Whenever we are doing Prasadam serving Seva, all the Seva should be done very quietly. And whatever we have assigned Seva, only those Seva should be done. When we are serving Seva, it is recommended that we are not talking loudly. We are not making any noises which will distract. Because whenever you are doing any Seva, so this Krishna is always in the center. So in our center, when we are serving, so Shri Radha, Shyam Sundar, Nimai are already there. Devotees are there. So they are always watching us. So we need to make sure that we are not making any noises. When we are doing prasadam serving seva, we should not make any jokes. We actually recommended for any seva is like, when we do any seva, we should glorify Lord. We should hear some lectures or we should discuss about Lord pastime. So once the lecture is over, we start serving seva. So maybe we can discuss about lecture, like, okay, what we have got today in lecture, so that our conscience is pure. And if we are serving like for longer period, then we should give chance to other devotees also, so that others are also getting engaged. Srila Prabhupada says our movement is to give, not just to keep with us. We need to share, because more we share, more Krishna and Guru gets pleases. We need to make sure that whatever offerings we are preparing, those should be very much hot. And the servings, whatever preparations we are done, they should all come on time, because we are offering that first to Lord and then we are honoring. So whosoever is given that seva of preparing something at home, they should come all on time, so that all items should be served in proper way. The next point is very important, where if suppose we are serving prasadam, so we should not touch our serving spoon to the plates, or we should not touch to one who are already eating, because this will contaminate both us and serving utensils. Now it might happen like, while serving, we might touch the plate or we might touch the devotee who is already eating. Then the best way is like, we should wash our hands, we should wash those particular utensils and then try to serve the prasad, because contaminated things should not be used for serving the prasad, because they are all pure. Now in our center, like, we use different plates to serve the prasada. So we need to make sure that whenever we are serving, it is dropped on those particular area properly. It should not happen like we have some sweet and on that particular sweet only we are putting some pakoda or something. If you don't have space in the dish, sometimes if you have more items than the number of like things we are on the plate, so yes, we can serve it later, but it should not happen like we are mixing the food. So that should be taken care. Then prasadam should not be served to anyone on their hand directly, especially only when we have some Mahaprasad from Lord, like when on the festivals we have some Mahaprasad, so that we can serve on the hand. Rest of the item should not be served on the hand directly. Except dry sweets, rest of the item should be served by spoon. Even for salt it is mentioned. And whenever we are doing any serving seva, we should only serve with right hand. So these are all basic etiquettes for serving prasadam. According to Gaudiya Parampara, this is how the sequence of serving prasadam. Now, depending upon time, place, and circumstances, we might have different variety of prasad, like, but from Gaudiya Parampara perspective, it says like first we should serve rice and chapatis. Next should go bitter foods like saag and spinach and suktas. Then should go dal and savories. In savories, like might be pakoda or some fried potato or something we have. Then we should have other vegetable preparations, sabjis from wet to dry. So if we have different sabjis, like one is wet and one is dry, so wet should serve first and then dry should be served. Then we should serve raitas and chutneys, and then we should serve sweet at the end. So this is as per Gaudiya Parampara. Now, depending upon like what menu we have, we need to serve as per that. But we should not have like, okay, we are serving sweet first and then dal and then rice. No, it should have some proper sequence of serving the prasad. Someone please read this.
Is meant for distribution. All varieties should be served equally within all assembled devotees. Read everything, bro.
Yes.
Everyone in the group should be offered with the same items. When a group of persons take prasadam together, no one should be offered anything that is not offered to everyone else. The devotees who are serving prasadam should not make any distinction while serving. Seniors should be served first. Householders should serve the guests. Old people and children should be served first. Go around serving seconds until everyone is satisfied. Don't be stingy. Don't hold anything back because you want to take it later. Prasadam is meant for distribution. Don't let your fingers touch any of the preparations, even water. Salt should never be served by hand. Use a spoon. After everyone has finished honoring prasadam, the place must be cleaned immediately. Also, devotees can collect the remnants fallen around the plate and put in the dustbin.
So this is very important. Like now we are aware, like, okay, where to put and like how to serve. But now these are this already Ramchandra also discussed, like one of the story discussed about what happened in center, like for pakora, like one pakora was not served and only that one pakora was left at the end. So Prabhupada, in many of the lectures, he said like prasadam, our movement is like in the first state also we saw that we are a movement of chanting and feasting. So prasadam is one of the most important and it is meant for distribution. So whatever preparations we have, everything should be served to all the devotees. We should not have partiality. Okay, this is my good friend in temple, I should serve this more. No, it should not happen. So all preparations, whatever preparations we have, all to be served in equal quantity. In third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord Kapila says this, that when we offer prasadam, when we prepare prasad, we prepare bhoga offer to Lord, that becomes a prasad. And when we distribute this prasad to everyone, that means we consider each of the guest as Paramatma is sitting in their heart, and then we are serving them, that in turn we are serving the Lord. So we should not hold anything for us, okay, khatam ho jayega. We should not have that mentality. It's of course, if suppose we have sannyasis or senior devotees in temple, they should be first given prasadam, followed by old people, children, and then rest of the devotees can take. Second serving, we need to make sure, like if you already started taking prasadam, we should not go and directly take from our hands because we are already contaminated. We are already halfway in eating, and then if you are going, like in center, it might happen like, okay, for first round we have taken like everything, and there are devotees who are serving the prasadam, but it might happen we need more, and now everyone is taking prasad. So we should not go and with that contaminated hand only, like we are using those utensils and then serving spoons and taking prasad. No, it will contaminate. If at all you want, you can ask any of the devotees to serve. Mostly we have few of the devotees in center, like those are every time available to serve the prasad. But if at all it happens that we don't have, then you can go wash your hand and then you can serve in some other plate. But you should not use your hand, like contaminated hand, to serve the prasadam because it contaminates whole vessels and everything. For salt, we have already discussed. And then last one is very important, like once the prasadam is honored or served, the whole area is required to be clean, that already we are doing. And whatever remnants or like while eating, if suppose something falls down, it's duty of everyone, individual devotees, that we should pick that and put in the dustbin. So this was moreover from serving prasadam perspective, but after serving, next is honoring prasadam. So this is one of the important, and then we need to remember that prasadam is not different from Krishna. Holy name is not different from Krishna. And then before taking prasadam, we should recite prayers that we already do in the center. Can someone read this?
Prabhuji, quick question. Should we ask all the question in the end, or we can ask after one slide?
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Sorry.
Yes, Prabhu, you can ask.
Okay. So from the first slide, it did not mention anything about drinking water or something before serving. So do we need to drink water? Is it not necessary?
Yeah, that will cover it too. In few further slides, we have that also too.
Okay. And for the second slide, so let's say if you have a big plate and you are putting the items, so should you follow the order that is described, or you can put it any order?
No, so that is moreover like sequence where
Okay.
that to be put on the tables, but on the dish where you need to put. So, for example, rice, it should be put on the bigger compartment. Dal can go on top of the rice. Sabji can go in the small compartment. So that sequence, or moreover, like how the sequence of serving, not the sequence of what to be put in the plate. So what you need to put on the plate depends upon that. If suppose it's a liquid, it cannot go in the plate. It should go in a glass. So that should go in that way.
Okay. And even if it's a big plate and a particular position where we are putting, you should still follow the order, or you can just follow any order if it's just a single plate.
We should try to follow this order, Prabhu. If not possible, then as I said, as per time, place, and circumstances, we can change, but we should try to follow the order. So especially for every Sunday, there is some team of devotees who are looking for the sequence and everything. So we have senior devotees in the center, like who will recommend like what should be the order. So that order should be followed too.
Okay, thank you.
Can anyone read this?
Hare Krishna. Yeah, I can read. Prasadam prayers. Number 1. Bhaire Sharira Vidya Jal Jyotindriya Tahe Kal Jive Pele Vishay Sagari Tara Mati Jivati Lobo Moe Sudurmati Take Jeta Kathin Sansare. Oh brothers, and this material body is the network of ignorance, and the senses are once deadly enemies, for they threw the soul into the ocean of material sense enjoyment. Among the senses, the tongue is the most voracious and verily wicked. It is very difficult to conquer the tongue in this world.
So whenever we start honoring prasadam, these are the prayers we should memorize. I will recommend all that you will request all of you, like if we learn this prayer, because it is very important. And as it says, like the material body is a network of ignorance. So we know, like we are not aware of our existence, and we are so much every time in an illusion, and always our senses are not in control. So if you want to control our senses, where here Bhaktivinoda Thakur says the tongue is most voracious, because it is said like whatever garbage in and garbage out philosophy is there. So whatever we eat, we become that. Whatever we associate with, we become like that. So if you associate with devotees, then you become good people, you become devotee. But if you associate with one who is just drinking alcohol, then you become like that. So whatever you do, you become that. So it's very important to recite this prayer, because then we are developing that consciousness for this. Can someone read this?
Krishna baro dayamay kori bare jiva jai swa prasadana dilo bhai say annamrita pav Radha Krishna guna gav preme dakho Shri Chaitanya Nitai. Oh brothers, Lord Krishna is very merciful. Lord, just to control the tongue, he has given us the remnants of his own food. Now please eat these nectarian grains while singing the glories of the Lordship Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. And in love call out Chaitanya Nitai.
So these are the two shlokas which generally we recite before honoring prasadam. So in the first verse, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, like if you want to control the senses, and most verses is tongue, so we need to accept this prasad. And then he continues like, this is mercy of Krishna. So it's not like we put food in front of bhoga in front of Krishna and Krishna it's everything and nothing is there. No, whenever we put any prasad or bhoga in front of Krishna, Krishna glances that and gives us mercy. And it says these grains, like we should accept this by glorifying Lord Shri Shri Radha Krishna, and then we should chant loudly Nitai and Chaitanya. So honoring prasadam, so as we said, like we should meditate on how Krishna tested as offering. One can also meditate on Krishna's mercy in providing prasadam and the prasadam pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna. So as we say, like when we are serving prasadam, we should not make any jokes or make loud noises. So similarly, when we are honoring prasad, when we are sitting to accept prasad, so we should not discuss anything material, because Krishna has given us mercy in that prasad. And if we discuss anything, then again we are not able to control our senses. So as in Bhaktivinoda Thakur in first verse says that this prasadam is basically to control all our anathas or our senses. And if we do same while eating, then we are offending or we are doing aparadha against prasad. So whenever we are honoring prasad, it is recommended like we discuss about Krishna, discuss about devotees, glorify. At least we should, the worst part is we should not at least offend anyone, like we should not criticize anyone while taking prasad, because that becomes a greatest aparadh. So it's always best practice, like we should remember Lord, or like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Lila, Lord Krishna Lila, or simply we can discuss like what are the points we are aware in Bhagavatam class. So Ramchandra Prabhu always says, like in last lecture he said, like sitting in that lecture in center is very important, but it's both attentive is also important. So if we hear that attentively, then we can discuss those points with fellow devotees. Oh, in today's lecture, Prabhuji said this, so that we can mesmerize and then we accept prasad and then we purify ourselves. Someone please read this.
Secondly, honoring prasadam. One should be cleaned during meals, having washed one's hands, feet, and mouth, and feet bare. One should eat in a clean, spacious, peaceful place. If possible, one may avoid eating in a vehicle. One should not eat before bathing, or before performing Gayatri Japa, or your morning deity worship. Also, it is not proper to eat until the food from the previous meal has been digested. One may eat with legs crossed but not spread. Keeping the plate in one's lap is not proper. Anyone for whom body does not support, however, may eat while seated at a table. Seniors should be given first preference to honor prasadam. Before beginning a meal, one should glance over the prasadam and pay one's respect to it, remembering that it is the mercy of the Lord. Vishnu.
So these are again basic etiquettes, like when we are honoring prasadam, we should first wash our hands, our feet and mouth. Now feet is not possible, so at least we should wash our hands before eating, because it might happen like before honoring prasad we might touch here and there, so that should not happen. So even biologically it's important to wash our hands before eating. We should eat in clean, spacious and peaceful place. So our center, like where Radha Chandran devotees are there, so always it's peaceful. So we should, for few of the devotees, it's recommended like for honoring prasad, we should sit on the floor with folded legs. But there are possibilities like someone cannot sit down, so they can sit over table and then honor prasad. We should not honor prasad at least before bathing. And then for initiated devotees, like Brahmin initiated devotees, they should first chant Gayatri mantra on their head, and then only they should eat the food. Even it is recommended in morning, like as soon as we wake up, we should not brush and directly eat. We should bathe. We should do our Mangala, our Aarti Puja. We should offer to Lord, and then only we should honor the prasad. We should only eat whatever is possible. We should not do overeating. That will cover in next slides. Most important is like for children, parents should make sure that when children are honoring prasadam, they should take whatever quantity is required for them. And then we should not keep the plate, first of all, on our lap, because that is when we keep anything on lap, because we are eating Krishna prasad and then we are keeping same on the lap. So that is not recommended. We should always cross our leg. We should not spread our legs, because if we spread our leg, that means we are showing our feet to someone, and that becomes an aparadh. And again, seniors should be given first preference. And before beginning the meal, we should sing the prayers, Sharira Vidya Jal, and accept this as a mercy of Krishna. Can someone please read this?
Yeah, I can read it.
Yeah.
Honoring and serving prasadam. Rules for eating and for drinking water. While eating or drinking, do not make disturbing noises or find faults with the taste of the prasadam. Use only 5 fingers of the right hand to touch and place food in the mouth. Eating with the hands is recommended because the digestive process begins with the sensation of food touching the fingers. The left hand should only be used for lifting a water cup, and then only if one can put the water in the mouth without touching the cup to the lips. If one cannot drink without touching the lips, then one should hold glass only in right hand and drink touching lips. Tear large items such as chapatis and puris with the fingers of the right hand and then place these small pieces in the mouth. Do not use your left hand for it. One should not consume large items by taking it in one's mouth and tearing it with one's teeth.
Yeah, thank you. So eating and drinking, like one of the devotee asked, like, what is the rule for drinking water? So actually in this manual, it has been recommended, like we should not drink water during the meals. We should drink water 1 hour before taking the meal. And if at all we want to drink, water, if at all we want to drink the water, then we should accept something hot or drinks or something. But drinking water during the food is not recommended, but it again depends upon devotees to devotees. So coming back to this, whenever we are accepting prasadam or honoring prasadam, we should not make any loud noises, and we should not find the faults. There is a very beautiful story which Gauranga Prabhu was narrating about Ramanujacharya. So once Ramanujacharya was taking his bath in the Kaveri river, and then after taking his bath, few of the Brahmins came, and then they said, Ramanujacharya, we have brought some Mahaprasad for you. And Ramanujacharya, he immediately accepted that. And after accepting that, he went into that river and washed his hand. So while washing, there were few remnants were remaining, and there were few fishes in that. And as soon as those remnants were gone into the river, these fishes accepted this, and immediately this fish went to Vaikuntha. And this Brahmana were like, oh, what happened to this? There is some magic in this river. So we will also go bathe in the river, and then we will also go to Vaikuntha. And then Ramanuja says, then stop. These fish are like, they are very submissive. So there are multiple qualities of the fish. First is like, whatever you give to them, they will eat. So Ramanujacharya says, like, with that deep faith, complete shelter on that, they have accepted that prasadam, and now they have went back to Krishna or Vaikuntha. So similarly, if we surrender completely, or if we have complete faith in prasadam, then it's very easy to purify ourselves. So point here, Gauranga Prabhu was telling that whenever we are eating, so we should not start finding fault in that, oh, salt is so much, and this is so much, this is very spicy or something. Yeah, the devotees who are allocated that particular seva of prasadam management, they can recommend to one who has prepared, but we should not do that, because if we are honoring prasadam and finding faults, then we are satisfying our senses. Just for our sense gratification, we are accepting that prasad, but we should not accept prasad just for satisfying our senses. Rather, we should eat prasad so that we can purify our senses, because we want to become Krishna consciousness. So this is very important. It is being said, like, if we suppose we have chapati and puri, then we should not use our left hand to tear those chapati or puri. Only right hand should be used. Never in the food preparation we should not use left hand. While drinking water, if we are holding the cup on the left hand, so we can drink the water, but we should not touch to the lip that particular cup, because our left hand will also become contaminated. So if we cannot drink water without touching the lips, so it's always recommended to use right hand, and you can touch your lips, and then we can drink the water. And then whatever large items we have, we should not directly take into mouth and then tear from the teeth and then again keep in the plate, because that is not recommended. It even don't look good. This is one of the most important, where unknowingly or unknowingly we might do offenses. So it says overeating causes disease and decreases one's lifespan. It also stops one's spiritual advancement, generates sins, and makes one an object of criticism. So we should not, like as I said earlier, we should not have to do, like, whatever is possible for us, we should eat that much, because it will not waste food also. And Srila Prabhupada says that we should fill 1/4 of our stomach with water, half with food, and other 1/4 with air. We should not overeat, because if we overeat, then we are not able to perform devotional service or sadhana properly, because we become lazy. And last point is very important, like we should not throw prasadam. We should never touch prasadam with our feet. So I was just, before this class, I was discussing with the senior devotee, and they were telling me that if we touch prasadam knowingly or unknowingly with our feet, then our Shakti may reduce, like it might impact our health. So this is very important, and we should not waste prasadam. That is one of the most important. And then, because when we are serving prasadam or honoring prasadam, that is mercy of Krishna. And if we waste prasadam, that means in turn we are offending that prasad. There is one beautiful story in Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit, which says, like, once Srila Prabhupada was traveling to Brazil, and with Shrutikirti Prabhu and one more devotee, I forgot the name. So there were 3 devotees, and Srila Prabhupada was traveling from Brazil to South America. And when like that particular temple in Brazil, they gave Srila Prabhupada 3 boxes of prasadam for all these 3 devotees, because devotees mostly, they never eat outside, they only eat Krishna prasad. So when they onboarded flight, and then everyone was having their food in the flight, so devotees, other 2 devotees gave Srila Prabhupada that 1 box, and Srila Prabhupada was accepting, honoring prasad. And once Srila Prabhupada was over, then he kept that box aside. At that particular time, that one air hostess comes, and then she takes that box directly. Generally, we never see like the air hostess is doing like this, they're directly grabbing some food. But then she asked Shrutikirti Prabhu that, why you people always bring your own food? Hare Krishna, anyone trying to ask something?
Prabhuji, I have a quick question. So regarding eating everything with the right hand, right? If somebody is left-handed, then still that rule applies, and why is that so?
So, Prabhuji, as per Shastra, we should always go by right, but that is what is been recommended in this, because all auspicious activity, we say it's done by right hand. Actually, this body is not auspicious, but in that it is recommended, like right hand is what important. But to answer your, if it's someone is left-handed, we should try to eat from right hand. If not possible, then we should eat from left hand. But
Okay,
importance, like we should eat from right hand only, bro.
thank you.
Yeah. So coming back to that story, so this particular air hostess, then she asked devotees, like, why you're always bringing these boxes, and why you don't eat in the flight? Then Prabhuji says, like, we eat veg food, and that is offered to Lord. And then she accepts this food from Srila Prabhupada box. And then she asked Srila Prabhupada, like, do you want anything? And Srila Prabhupada smiles and says, okay, can you please bring me milk? She goes inside and then she brings 3 cups of milk and gives to this devotee. After some particular time, after few years, devotees in Latin America, they goes for a preaching. And then they knocks each door to distribute the books. So when they knock one door, there is one very beautiful family, and they invite this devotee. They ask this devotee to sit at home, and then there are very beautiful deities of Radha, Shyam Sundar, and then they gave them prasad and everything. So these devotees who went for preaching, they asked this devotee family, like, how you became Krishna conscious, how you came to this ISKCON movement. They said that particular lady, she said, like, long time back when I was air hostess, I was doing my duty, and then there was one person who was onboarded in the flight, and then I took few of like food from that particular box, and I felt such touched, but I was not aware what was his name. So I just went into the list and I saw the name, like which person was sitting on that particular seat, and it was Srila Prabhupada. And she said, like, I just went and searched on the internet, who is this person? And then I got connected to one of the temple. I went there, they gave me two of the Srila Prabhupada books. I started reading those books. I understood the concept of prasad, and I started offering bhoga. And now she said, like, now we are all initiated in the family. So this shows how much importance of prasada means, like just one time, like in the flight, she just ate that Mahaprasad from Srila Prabhupada box, and her whole life was converted. Like she in the Lilamrita, there is very beautiful detailed explanation on this. So the point why we are narrating this particular thing, that we should not waste prasad, because each remnant or each morsel of prasad is very important. We are all aware of Jagannath Puri. In Jagannath Puri, Bimala Devi, that is Parvati Devi, Lord Shiva's wife. So Lord Jagannath has made special place for her to sit in Jagannath Puri, and every day today, whenever the bhoga is offered to Jagannath, then this bhoga becomes prasad, and this prasad is then first given to Bimla Devi, that becomes Mahaprasad. Hare Krishna, anyone trying to ask something? So this is important somehow. Even Parvati Devi in form of Bimla Devi, she is so this is importance of prasad. So we should make sure that we are not wasting prasad. Next comes after the meal. Can someone please read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. After the meal, it is appropriate to chant the Prema Dhvani at the end of a meal before rising to leave. After finishing a meal and while waiting for others to finish, one may chant aloud various shlokas and prayers glorifying the Lord. Out of respect for others who are still eating, all persons in a row should wait for others in the same row to finish before rising. After rising from the meal, one should wash one's hands without delay and then rinse one's mouth at least 3 times. And finally, one may wash one's feet. One should always remember a Lord by chanting his name and discussing his pastimes while prasadam. After the meal, the eating area should be thoroughly cleaned. Thank you.
So now we have discussed like what is prasadam and how to serve prasadam and how to honor prasadam. So next is important, like what we should do after the meal. So generally it is practiced in many temples that once prasadam is over, we sing the Prema Dhvani. So the same few of the pranam mantra like we sing after Gaur Aarti. it depends upon time plus and circumstance again, but that is good if we do, like, at least in our mind, if we thank Krishna, oh Krishna, thank you, you have given us prasad, so that becomes premdhani for us. After finishing, like, it is general practice that if we are sitting with group of the devotees, then we should not directly rise and go. If we don't have any further seva, then we can still wait and discuss Lord pastimes with devotees seated in a group or in a row. But if we have some other seva, if we want to leave early, then we should just beg permission from our fellow devotees that, okay, Hare Krishna, Prabhu or Mataji, I need to leave. And because that is standard etiquette, that we should request them and then we should leave. Second is, like, when we are finished with the prasadam, we can, as I said, like, we should say thanks to the Lord and glorify that prasad and the Lord, because prasad and Lord is not different. Once we are done with the prasadam, we should make sure that we are taking our plates and whatever has been fallen down, we are throwing in the dustbin, and we should wash our hands in the restroom, not in the kitchen, as already Ramchandra has shared this. Then, Hare Krishna. And then we should always chant Lord's name and different pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna after prasadam is over. And once prasadam is over, we should try to clean whole of the area thoroughly, especially in our center in the church. So devotees can wait once prasadam is over, and then we can clean tables and all the area, so that whole area is clean. Because if unknowingly, if suppose someone steps on the prasad, then we will get that aparat what we discussed. So it's very important that we clean whole area properly. There is one very beautiful story again in Lilamrit, Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit, where like few of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada gave Srila Prabhupada some sweets in the box. So when Srila Prabhupada opened that box, so in that box there were few ants which were already honoring that prasad. And then now devotees thought, oh, what we have done, we have given this box and we have not seen this ant. And then devotees thought that, okay, now Srila Prabhupada will not accept this. But Srila Prabhupada said to these devotees, okay, these ants will not eat so much, all of these sweets. So they will only eat some portion. So let them eat that, and rest of the portion I will eat. So here, like, many of the devotees in their lectures, they give the conclusion. They say that here Srila Prabhupada says that charity begins from home. So whenever we are serving, first we should serve Vaishnava. So Srila Prabhupada never discriminated even for ants, because soul. So soul, like every jiva has soul in that, and Paramatma is sitting in that. So Srila Prabhupada says, no, let that ant eat that particular sweet, and then rest of the portion I will eat. So this shows like how Srila Prabhupada was always in mood of serving. There is also one more story in Srila Prabhupada Ilamrit, that Srila Prabhupada once in South India, he went to one of his god brother named Ananda. And then this particular Prabhupada god brother, he was not able to speak English. He was almost speaking Indian languages. And he was always interacting with Srila Prabhupada and discussing about Lord Krishna and Radharani. And Srila Prabhupada wants to call his foreign disciples to this particular mutt to just show like how this particular Ananda Prabhu was always in having serving mood, serve prasadam. So he was cooking, he was serving prasadam, and then he was cleaning that portion. So once every day he was doing this activity for all of the devotees which Srila Prabhupada took to his temple. And then one day Srila Prabhupada was sitting with all of his disciples, and he was telling, this is proper attitude of serving. So who is the Vaishnava? Vaishnava is the one who prepares bhoga, who offers that bhoga to the Lord, who serves this prasad to the all devotees, and at end he will clean everything and then he will eat. So this is Vaishnava because he's always in mood of serving the devotees. So there's many beautiful stories in Srimad Bhagavatam Chaita Chaitamrita where it is said like how important it is to serve and honor prasadam. So with that, this is what we have in Vaishnava etiquette for honoring and serving prasadam. Any comments, any corrections?
Yeah, devotees, request that if you have any questions, you can write or raise hand and then we'll take some questions. Prabhuji, I'll just take 1 minute to explain some programs we do.
Yep.
Okay. Is anybody first time on this program? Any? Okay. All right. So at ISKCON Bergen, let me just share the website. One second. Okay. So that's our website, iskonofbergen.org. And any and all programs, whatever we do, we keep our website up to date. All the events are listed here. The program like this Wednesday Sangha, the series continues. The 4th session will be next week on the same Zoom. Request you to join. And this week, Sunday program, in-person Sunday program, it starts 4:30. Those who are nearby visiting, please join. And Bhakti Vriksha programs are conducted on every Friday at many places. Those who are not part of any of the Bhakti Vriksha and would like to join, you can go to our website here and click on the join, provide your information, and we'll contact you. We do the Bhagavad Gita reading on the weekdays, 12 to 12:15 on the same Zoom, and there's a daily japa session in the morning, 6 to 8 a.m. All the calendar events are listed in the personalized calendar at ISKCON Bergen. And you know, all these classes are also listed on our YouTube channel, and on the website has the link as well. Thank you, everyone. So let's go back to the questions. Let's see. Anybody has any questions in this? You can raise hand. Ratnavati Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for the nice session. I have a question regarding when there is a new person who comes to either Bhakti Vriksha or the temple. Like you have mentioned that while honoring Prasad, we should not speak about other things, but only about glorifying the Lord. But what if this new person does not know much about Krishna or Krishna consciousness? So what is the way in which we can glorify the Lord and simultaneously not do any offenses?
No, thank you for the question. So basically, whatever Vaishnava etiquettes we have, we need to apply those depending upon time, place, and circumstances. So if suppose we have some new devotee, maybe in Bhakti Vriksha, or we have someone new in the center, so basically we can start discussing with them like how they like the session and what are the points, like if some points they want to share from the lecture, and then we can check, like we need to think like what is the background of this particular person, if we are aware like where this person is coming from. But if we are not, if we are just speaking to them first time, like just randomly they have come to center of Bhakti Vriksha, then we cannot speak altogether whole philosophy with them, but we can discuss few of the points, basic points which they can understand. Because in class it might happen on Bhakti Vriksha that we go into some philosophical or verses that will be difficult for new people to grasp. But for new people, it's always recommended like we first ask their whereabouts, how they are and everything. And then few of the points we can describe, okay, in today's talk, we discuss about this, how you liked, or we can ask them, okay, how you like the session. And then we can think, okay, if they are moreover discussing on the class points, that means they are inclined toward philosophy. Some of the newcomers, they are not inclined more to the philosophy initially. They are moreover inclined like, okay, हमने ये पहले किया था, we have did this, and I went to this temple, I was doing this. So, okay, we need to appreciate, accept that, and we need to discuss something about that. So it all based upon time, place, and circumstance, Mataji, like who the person is. Yes, in this particular side, we are saying that we should not discuss anything, and we should not discuss anything else other than Krishna's pastimes or glorifying devotees. But when we speak to these devotees, we should make sure that we are not discussing anything material. That, okay, if suppose, for example, now some World Cup is going on, so we're not discussing, oh, you have seen World Cup or something, because if we start discussing with that, then we will, our main motto, our main movement is to bring closer to Krishna. So that is our main motto. So we should try to pick few of the points where we can pull them towards Krishna consciousness. Hope, Mataji, this answers your question.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, something on the common grounds.
Yeah, something on the common grounds. Yeah, we need to find out something common, like what we did same like while before Janmashtami for calling, as Prabhuji instructed. So we need to find something in common, and then we need to discuss more than that. But we should not start discussing if that person is not inclined initially from philosophy perspective, then it should not happen that we are discussing something material just to make them happy. It should not happen that we need to have something discuss about Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Ramchand Prabhu?
Not able to hear Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, sorry. I said a very practical question by Rukmavati and well answered by Nimai Karuna Prabhu. And this applies to a lot of the etiquettes. A lot of the pointers from the etiquette book have been removed for here because it applies to temple. A lot of them applies to initiated devotees. So a lot of them have been extracted. So obviously, according to time, place, when you're with a new person and sometimes they want to talk about, they have questions. Somebody recently I was sitting with were asking me about, what do you think about this Israel and Palestine war while taking prasadam? So it was more of an icebreaker to get to know the person. So at that point, if I said, well, no, let's not talk about that. Let's just talk about Krishna. That person is probably never going to sit with me and eat prasadam, or is not never going to come. So we have to use that judgment. It's very important. And also one more thing while serving prasadam, that we should be very conscious about if we're serving prasadam and there's matajis around us, there's another mataji who's just serving there. There is 8 items and we have 8 people serving. There's literally no space. So the Prabhu or mataji should, themselves understand that, this is not the right way of, because sometimes we push each other, touch each other, and that is that's not the right way of doing it. So we have to either one of them should move away and just give it to another mataji and say, please come and serve, or the other should be very careful of this. So this is very important point that we all should be conscious about when serving prasadam.
Great.
Okay. Devotees, anybody has any other question? Prabhuji, if I can ask you something, maybe you can give a short description of what is prasadam and what is bhoga.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. So basically, whatever we prepare, that is a bhoga, and in our Krishna conscious society or in Gaudiya, whatever food we prepare, it's all without onion and garlic. It's more than veg. So in one of the book I was reading, like people who want peaceful life, they moreover follow vegetarian diet. but Krishna consciousness is one step ahead. Like we are in Bhakti Yoga, where we are more than veg. We are eating Krishna Prasad. So bhoga is nothing but whatever like we prepare for the Lord. Once that bhoga is prepared, it's not eaten by anyone. Then we first offer this to the Lord. When we offer this to the Lord, Lord glances their mercy to this food, and then that becomes prasad. And then that prasad is then further served to the devotees. So bhoga is one where which is not yet offered, which is just cooked, and prasadam is like once that bhoga is offered, and then that is ready for rest of the devotees to honor.
Thank you, Prabhu. Any questions anybody has? Looks like no more questions, Prabhuji. I see one hand. Okay,
Ramchandra.
Yeah, one more point that comes to my mind is that if we see somebody who's doing something not correctly, then we should correct them also in a very humble way. Not that, in coming strong. We have to do it in a way where if I was doing something wrong and if somebody was correcting me, because I'm not aware of, how would I like and appreciate that person telling me, and I respectfully say, okay, thank you for telling me, so this way I know now going forward how to do. For example, if somebody's serving me prasadam and they're touching the spoon on my plate, which I come for a second round, I can say it in a way, Prabhu or Mataji, just want to let you know that when we serve, right, try not to touch the plate because my plate is contaminated, with a smile on the face, rather than, oh, Haribol, जरा देख के सर्व करो, ऐसे टच मत करो इधर, ऐसा टच नहीं करने का खाने के टाइम पे, in whichever language, because that will kind of take that person back. Or in the kitchen, right? Hey, you should not be coming into the kitchen. Why? Because only you've just eaten, so first go and wash your hands and come. Our body language can break it or make it with another person. So always remember this, that how would I like to be told? And if I'm telling how I would like to be told, then we're 99% okay. If I speak in a way which I don't want others to speak in that way to me, then we're 100% wrong in communicating to others. So that's a rule of thumb that we can apply.
Thank you.
Saurabh?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. One last question. So I have a two-part question. The first part is, let's say we are cooking for a lot of people, right? We cannot estimate the number of people who would be there, right? And if we are serving prasadam, a lot of prasadam is left. Then what should we do with that? That's the first question. Second question, second part is, let's say if we choose to keep the prasadam for the next day, can we even serve that prasadam? Because I don't know, I remember that we should only serve the food that is prepared within the last 3 hours or something like this.
Yeah, thank you for that question. So to answer your first question, basically we are always having estimated count, like what is the count of devotees coming to that particular program. So as in the slides we have seen, like we should serve each devotee like all the items, but if it so happens that prasadam like it remains at end, like everyone has honored prasadam and still if prasadam is left, so it is like we should serve that prasadam to everyone, like we should pack that prasadam and ask devotees to take that prasadam. And it is not recommended like to serve same prasadam next day, because if we serve same prasadam next day, then what will we offer to Lord? Because we cannot offer that prasadam to Lord. So next day, if we are serving same prasadam what is cooked one day before, that is not recommended. And yes, you say like 3 hours before, that is true. Like prasadam, it should be cooked, I think so 6 hours is what I have heard. So yeah, it should be freshly cooked food which should be offered to the Lord. But one day before prasadam, so sweet and everything is okay. That is made one day before. That dry items is okay, but rice, dal, sabji, that should not be served on the next day.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Anybody else has any questions? Okay. Looks like we have all the questions answered. So we'd like to adjourn this call today, and thank you everyone for participating in the Wednesday Sangha. Please come join us on the next Wednesday in the continuation. Fourth part, by Nimai Karuna Prabhu as well. And have a wonderful evening. Hare Krishna. Vanchkalpatarvishya Kapasambhavaja Patitanam Pavibhyo Vaishnavibhyo.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.